Hello, I'm Larry Silby with MotorAge. Today I have the pleasure of hosting a webinar that I think you will find not only interesting, but also what I would call a necessity for shop owners who want to grow and sustain their businesses. The webinar is called Why Service Contracts Lead to Long-Term Customers. As important as understanding why this is the case, it is learning how you can easily apply this information that will earn you more loyal, long-term customers. Of course, a webinar is only as good as the presenters and the content they impart. Fortunately, I have two of the country's top service contract experts with me today. They are Rick Bale and David Diem. You may not know them, but you should get to know them. So without further ado, I'm going to let them introduce themselves and we'll get right into their presentation. David, can you kick things off, please?
Hello, everyone. Larry, thank you for the invitation to speak today, and thank you all for attending. You know, the subject of service contracts can be complicated, but when well managed, it can also be very good for customer retention. We're excited to be here and share what we've learned over the many years in this industry about service contracts and the customers who buy them, and we hope you can impart some of the information today to help customer retention in your shops. Larry, back to you.
Well, thank you, David. Appreciate that. And let's go to Rick Bale, who will introduce us to himself and also to the agenda.
Great. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate having us on. We're excited to be here today, and thanks to all the viewers who've logged in and are watching. This is a good opportunity to learn and get some insights to the service contract business and how it can really benefit your shop. Today, we're going to go through a little bit of background on David's company and on my company and how we've gotten involved in the business. A little bit about the marketplace and consumers' behavior, what they're doing with service contracts, what makes them buy, what makes them not buy, and how you can ensure that you can have a good experience in your shop when people come in with service contracts. So we'll share a little bit of the good and the bad and how you can navigate for the best course, and as well as how to turn customers into really good long-term loyal customers that you'll see benefits for years to come. So with that, my name is Rick Bale. I've been in the business now for, in automotive for almost 35 years myself. First 18 years I was a carburetor specialist, so I've been very close to carburetors and engines are near and dear to my heart. And then about 18 years into that, I made a career switch over to the service contract business, and have been here at this company also for about 18 years. So I work here at Century Warranty Services. I'm the managing director. Our company is part of JM Family Enterprise. We're a very large, diversified automotive company. And you may know us better through our sister company, which is Fidelity Warranty Services. Many shops have had Fidelity customers come in with their service contracts, so you might have already had some experience with processing a claim, seeing how a quick payment process works. We all share the same infrastructure, so everybody benefits from that. We're also the provider and administrator for the MotorAge Vehicle Protection Plan, and we'll tell you a lot about that today. And David, I'll hand it off back to you.
Thanks very much, Rick. My name is David Diem, and I'm a partner in automotive product consultants, commonly known as in the industry as APC. We're an APC Integrated Services Group company, and for the last 15 years, our specialty, our core competency is really direct-to-consumer automotive marketing of service contracts for our partners, large service contract administrators like Century Warranty Services. In our role, we speak to thousands of customers every month about their vehicle, their driving habits, and their coverage needs. And it really gives us a good insight to why consumers buy service contracts, when they buy service contracts. And consumers, there are different consumer types that we'll share with you today. APC powers the MotorAge Vehicle Protection Portal and call center. And we have a lot of experience in the independent repair space, speaking with shops and shop owners and service writers every day as well. The service contract marketplace is pretty interesting, actually. It's, on average, approximately 65% of your customers don't buy a service contract along with their vehicle purchase or their vehicle lease. And this doesn't mean they're not buyers. It just means that they didn't buy that day. And it's for a variety of reasons. Many will wait to buy till their vehicle's older. They wait until they settle into the new vehicle purchase, and they may buy early. Many customers will, maybe purchased a vehicle from a private party, so a service contract really wasn't available along with that vehicle purchase. Some just didn't want to spend more time at the dealership that day. They'd already spent a couple hours test driving the car and getting their loan paperwork done, and so they were just anxious to drive home. Some will wait till the end of their factory warranty, and you can imagine, there's quite a fairly large audience that we see that right before the factory warranty expires or soon after the factory warranty expires, there's a large audience of consumers that then see the need to be able to continue, similar type coverage longer term because they're planning on continuing to own and maintain the vehicle. Some will wait until they decide to purchase the vehicle at the end of their lease. And some will wait and decide, they're keeping the car in the family longer. Maybe they originally intended to turn it in right around the time their factory warranty expires, but now they're going to pass it down to a child or another family member. So they've decided to keep it covered. So, there's a variety of reasons, that they wait to buy. Most motorists will buy service contracts for the obvious reasons, peace of mind and, and just, insurance against, mechanical breakdown repairs. But different customers really buy with different focuses. Peace of mind, again, is certainly one of them. They want to continue the factory warranty type experience. Many customers are used to having everything covered, not having to worry about any repairs that need to be done, and they want to continue that type of an experience. Some worry about the rising cost of repairs. Vehicles, as we all know, are so much more expensive to repair these days than they used to be with the advent of technology and computers and what have you in the vehicles. And many customers want protection against unexpected or catastrophic repair costs. And what we find, and in the lending industry, that they find this a lot, consumers with lower incomes, an unexpected or catastrophic repair cost can really literally stop them in their tracks. They can't necessarily afford to make the repair if the vehicle is rendered inoperable. Some will end up having to abandon the vehicle. So having protection against that, be able to have the repair covered so that they can maintain the vehicle in operating condition, still have a vehicle to go back and forth to work, is very important to that customer segment. Some can't afford to be without the vehicle. And the advantage of service contracts is that not only will it help cover the repair, but it'll also help cover the towing of that vehicle, and it'll also help cover a rental vehicle during the repair period. And then there's an interesting group of customers, and it tends to be an older segment, a more mature customer group. And these customers just typically want coverage for everything. They have insurance for everything in their life, and they want to maintain, coverage on their vehicle for mechanical breakdown as well. I listened to a call a couple weeks ago. It was very interesting. It was an older gentleman who had taken in his vehicle for repair, and he discovered that even though he was under his mileage, he only had about 34,000 miles on his vehicle, that he had timed out. He was actually over the 3 years on his factory warranty. So, his repair wasn't covered. So after he paid for his repair, and it wasn't a major repair, he immediately got on the phone with us because he wanted to go ahead and get similar coverage to what he had and maintain coverage. It was just his mindset. It was his culture. It's just the way he did everything in his life. So again, motorists buy service contracts for different reasons. And they also buy from a variety of different locations. Early shoppers may go back to the dealership. Manufacturers offer coverage usually during the factory warranty period. And then there are a number of pretty aggressive third-party companies that will market these customers with letters, postcards, sometimes phone calls. If you're like me, I'm sure you've gotten the letters or the postcards in the mail. And what they do is they use credit and other forms of public data to try to target these customers. And again, they're pretty aggressive. I regularly get mail in my mailbox for not only a vehicle that I own, but a vehicle that I've previously owned. And the challenge with that is many of the products that they sell have minimal coverage. And so a customer may believe that they're purchasing coverage that's much like their factory warranty, but unfortunately they find down the road when they go to make a repair that it's minimal and it doesn't necessarily cover everything. And this is the type of coverage that shops typically, don't like and they have challenges with. Some motorists will shop online looking for the cheapest coverage, and the challenge with price shopping often leads to purchasing minimal coverage as well. All service contracts are not alike, and there's a lot of complexity to them. So it's fairly difficult for the average consumer to really go online and discern the difference between a real good quality product, one that shops would like if their customers had, versus one with minimal coverage. And there's a growing population of customers that purchase through their local independent repair shop. And so, and this is more likely to happen when the vehicle's outside of factory warranty, when customers have migrated from the dealership doing repairs to migrating to independent repair shops. Which literally leads to the subject of what we're here to talk about today, is why customers will buy from you. What's interesting is the value of mechanical breakdown protection is foremost on your customer's mind at the end of a customer repair visit. Like the gentleman I just talked about a few minutes ago, he didn't think much about the fact that he was out of factory warranty until suddenly he had a repair. And then he realized as he's paying for it that he needed to go back. He really wanted to go back and get coverage, so he immediately did so. Your customers are already looking to you for repair expertise and advice, so it's natural for them to look to you for advice on mechanical protection as well. And many of your customers may have already asked you about the letters or the postcards that they're getting in the mail today. Some customers are unaware that they're still eligible outside of factory warranty, especially those customers with a higher mileage vehicle. And this provides the opportunity ultimately for independent repair facilities like yourselves to capture this revenue and all the future paid service business that goes with it. And the future paid service business comes from the fact that motorists typically return to the location that they purchased the service contract from or acquired it through for all their future claim repairs, roughly 85% of the time. We call that the 85% rule. Again, 85% of the claims that a motorist will make under a service contract will typically be made at the repair shop or at the facility that they purchased a service contract if that facility does repair vehicles. MotorAge has done a number of studies on the subject as well. They surveyed shops across the country in several studies with 3 overwhelming responses. The first is that shops typically have some contact with service contracts, and when asked, their experience is both good and bad, unfortunately mostly bad, and most shops would like more of the good, but don't really know a lot about service contracts or how to effectively sell them. Some shops do sell them, and many shops don't, but the conclusion that MotorAge came to was that connecting shop customers with high quality coverage is really good for the customer and good for the shop, because shops, again, will increase the customer loyalty and retention with a quality product. Again, the 85% rule. They'll gain the future parts and labor revenue from those claims. And they're going to, as well as picking up additional revenue from maybe routine service that's being done and routine maintenance that's being done at the same time as those claim repairs come in. And shops are also picking up a new income stream from commission and compensation for each service contract that is sold. So what MotorAge has done as a result of these studies and the conclusions they've come to is they've created the MotorAge Vehicle Protection Program that today is providing, and today providing it to eligible shops with no startup or operating costs, which is really a program to give the shops the ability to offer their customers access to quality coverage. It's interesting that your customers will fall into really 3 key customer groups. Target group 1 would be customers with vehicles that are still inside a factory warranty, and this is probably a smaller group than group 2. Group 2 is the largest of the 3 groups. These are customers that are with vehicles that are coming to you for service that are outside of factory warranty. And then there's a target group 3 that a lot of us may not think about. And these are customers that years ago did purchase a service contract either from the dealership or another source. And that service contract will be expiring soon. And obviously this is a customer group that, since they really felt that it was important to purchase a service contract to begin with, they're a group that has a high likelihood of wanting to buy coverage again to continue coverage from mechanical breakdown as long as they own that vehicle. Ultimately, if you think about it, the perfect opportunity stands before each of you every day. While a customer is standing at your counter paying for a repair, it's really the ideal moment to introduce them to quality coverage. And all you have to do is really start a conversation. If you have a tool or a service contract offering, or you can use the new MotorAge vehicle protection tool, that tool leads and connects your customers to quality A-rated coverage. And it really ultimately then will protect your customers from any of the surprise repair expenses that they may have over the life cycle of the vehicle. We'll give you a little view of how the MotorAge portal works. It's a warranty evaluator and referral system. And what it is, it's an online tool. It sits on your desktop. It's always at your fingertips. And it's a way for you to start a conversation and build value with a free factory warranty consultation, really evaluating is the vehicle in or out of factory warranty and what the coverage needs are. And it just creates a dialogue with each coverage about their risks once their factory warranty is expired or if it's already expired. And then it provides your customers with access to A-rated coverage with no waiting periods. And it also offers them affordable 0% payment plans so that it makes it affordable to get good quality coverage. And ultimately, shops have a choice, and some shops do it different ways. They can either refer them to the MotorAge toll-free hotline for assistance, or they can actually quote them with a portal on the spot. There's a printable brochure and quotes from any printer at the shop, and the quotes are automatically fed to the MotorAge team for follow-up with the customers so that an experienced group of service contract professionals can really discuss all the details with your customer on their coverage needs and which plans, what each plan covers to best fit a plan with the customer's vehicle and their driving habits. And then there's a built-in incentive program for all your service riders that drive results. The MotorAge portal is actually powered by APC, so we have a lot of experience with it. And they're providing it to eligible shops with no startup or operating costs because they really feel that it's important to be able to provide you a tool at your fingertips so that you can direct your customers and get them referred to quality coverage. And in the portal, there's 4 referral options. There's really 4 different levels that shops like yourselves can use the portal. And the reason that 4 different levels were built is in the shop surveys, they found that different shops had different interest levels in how involved they wanted to get in the service contract process or how much time they had to get involved in the process. So level 1 is just really using it as a tool to start a dialogue and push a button and provide your customers information so that they can go ahead to the hotline specialist that will help them with all the details. More shops will take it to at least level 2 and use it as a referral tool. They'll enter in the basic VIN and miles of the vehicle. They can help show the customer a warranty evaluation and show what the customer's risks are and what their needs are, and then direct the customers back to trained coverage specialists and set up coverage specialists to actually follow up directly with your customers with all those details. Some shops want to take it further and actually provide a quote to the customer. They have the ability to provide a quote for the different coverage levels and the different payment options. And then some shops say, look, if you give us a simple tool like this, we do want to sell it. It's just we've never had this tool before. And so shops are excited about using it, and they'll actually take it to level 4, which is taking it all the way through a sale. We'll give you a quick view of how the MotorAge portal works. Every shop that enrolls gets a simple email login. And from there, your shop identifier will be here in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. And all you do is click Warranty Evaluator to start with each customer, and you're in. You'll enter the customer's VIN and enter the miles, click Next, and immediately the customer's vehicle information will populate, the miles per year that they've been driving will populate, and it'll show on a graph, a very simple graph, how much remaining warranty, factory warranty, the customer has in green, and then what their risk exposure is in red. It's a very compelling, very simple tool to set the stage and to create a dialogue. And from that point, you can either, the customer can either say they're not interested or, yeah, follow up with me, and then you can go ahead and make the referral. Or if you'd like to take it the next step, you can go ahead and push the get quote button and immediately go into the quote screen. All we need is the trim, drivetrain, and engine, their name and phone number and email, click next, and boom, you have coverage eligibility from best to least order. You can select a plan, and it shows the different coverage levels, but it also refreshes the graph, and suddenly that graph that had a lot of red risk zone in it has green. And so it really is a compelling tool to show your customers how being properly covered can really benefit them. And from this point, you can print a brochure, you can print the page, you can print the quote, and just from any printer in the shop, and give your customer a copy. And if you'd like to actually help the customer start the sale, you can go to level 4 and click buy plan. And then all you need to do is verify the address, choose a payment. There's a 12, 18, or a 24-month payment option. Enter the credit card information for a down payment, click purchase, and you've started the purchase for your customer. From that point, we'll pick up and finalize the purchase with the customer. We'll walk the customer through all of the details of the coverage, make sure that they've selected the proper plan for themselves, verify the payment method, let them know exactly what name's going to appear on the credit card statement. And all of those calls are recorded beginning to end with your customer. So that's how the MotorAge portal works. Again, it's really simple steps depending on how involved you'd like to be with the service contract process and how much time you have available with your customer in the shop that day. We have a dedicated team of service contract specialists to really be your experts to help you with service contracts with your customers. These are highly trained and licensed insurance agents. And again, we'll help the customer make the best selection using a very top-down consultative sales approach. We use a guided sales system. We always start with the best possible coverage for the customer based upon their driving habit and how long they're planning on keeping the vehicle and their needs. It's very customer-centric, and it's often a 2 or 3 call close. Purchasing a service contract can be complex. It's a big, important purchase for a customer, and we want to give them the time to digest it and to do it the right way, in a way that's best for them. All of our calls and sales wrap-ups are recorded beginning to end, and if a customer makes a purchase, again, we'll go through in detail exactly what the service contract they're buying covers, and all the payment plan terms and arrangements and what have you. It's very customer-focused, and so much so that we believe that we want to build a relationship with the customer through this process, much like we all build a relationship with our own auto insurance agent. So each of our sales agent maintains a personal toll-free number throughout the process. So once a customer starts with a sales agent, they'll stay with that person throughout the process. The agents will personally follow up with any pending customers. Again, all the customers are offered a simple down payment and an interest-free 0% payment option to make it affordable. Because the customers are buying a very important product and something that's pretty substantial, we feel it's very important to get it into their hands right away. So we immediately will fulfill the service contract and get it mailed out to the customer. And then we have a full-time customer service team that will assist the customers with any questions or any needs post-sale. Maybe they need a copy of the contract or what have you. So we're here to assist throughout the life of the contract. So we've talked about how customers purchase and all the different coverage levels. So we thought the next step might be to really dive in and show you those different coverage levels. And since Century Warranty Services has built the MotorAge Vehicle Protection Plan, Rick, let me turn this back over to you. And if you would, let's walk through the different coverage levels that are available and look in more detail about what the various customer options are.
Great, thanks, David. Let's dive into it a little bit here, a little deeper. One thing to know about the service contracts is that there's consumers' needs vary. They're all over the board. Some people are going to keep the car for just another year. Some people are going to keep it for quite a bit longer. Some people have more money than other people, and so we need to have a lot of variety. We designed the product to exist at a lot of different price points, so you've got something that fits the majority of consumer drivers that are out there. And as you look at the grid here, you see that we have several terms, all starting at 1 year, 12,000 miles, going all the way up to 10 years and 100,000 miles. Now, all of these are add-on time, add-on miles. And if you've been exposed to service contracts before, you know that there's another type of service contract that starts as soon as they buy the car. The clock is already ticking. So you may buy yourself a 10-year, 100,000 mile contract, but it expires at 100,000 miles. And the problem with that is they may already have 75,000 miles on their car. You pay for what you get. So if it's a 10-year, 100,000 mile contract, that is added on to the time and odometer at the time that they purchase the service contract. We feel that that's a more clearer way for consumers to understand what they're buying. It's a clearer way for shops to be able to present the product and pick out a term that fits well with the customer. The portal tool will help you identify, because it's going to ask you how long are you going to keep the car, how many miles a year, or what are your current miles, and it will calculate out how much term they really need. And that's what the beauty of that illustration that David showed you. So with 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, all the way up to 10 years, it gives many different term options and many different price points as well. Deductibles are there for the same reason. 0 deductible, 100, 250. All 3 deductibles exist for every term offering, so that you, again, have different price points. Some people would just like a peace of mind of never having to really worry about money coming out of their pocket, feeling like they have to negotiate or participate in the negotiation of a repair. They just go for a 0 deductible. Great option, too, if you have a child that's maybe in college, is not near you, and you want them not to have to worry about their car. They take it in for a repair. If it's covered under the service contract, then it's 0 deductible. Nobody has to worry anything about what the real cost of the repair is. So it's great peace of mind. For other people, they may go to the other end of the scale at a 250 deductible, and that gives them a chance to lower the price point down on a term that is a good fit for them. So coverage levels on the bottom of the screen there, we have 4 levels of coverage. We start at the top at premium care. This covers virtually all the mechanical components and electronic components, the luxury electronics, nav systems, stereos, all the switches on the vehicle. So this is a very comprehensive coverage and gives the greatest peace of mind. Other people are looking for a lower price point, or maybe they really just care about covering them from catastrophic breakdowns like the engine or the transmission going bad, which are very expensive out-of-pocket type of repairs. And so this gives us the ability to have a price point for the majority of consumers. And you see that our eligibility for the contracts, we can go from a brand new car all the way through to 140,000 miles and up to 10 years old. So again, this covers the vast majority. Let's go ahead and go on to the next slide. One of the reasons why shops really do prefer to use the motor age vehicle protection plan is because it's so easy. It's easy to offer. You've got a great tool to be able to show an illustration to the consumer so that it provides a compelling story. The quality of the coverage is excellent. The company behind it, I'll tell you a little bit more in the next slide about Century Warranty and the depth that we have financially. Our contracts are designed with a no waiting period, and there's no pre-inspection to buy. Obviously, we don't cover pre-existing conditions, but if a person buys a contract today and next weekend their engine goes out, that would be covered by the contract. At all coverage levels cover that. So we believe that for customer service, for the best customer service experience, you do need your coverage to turn on as soon as you pay for it. The no pre-inspection, so we set the eligibility for vehicles, and that way we fit the largest group of your customers. The claims process is easy. I touched on that earlier, that we share the same customer service infrastructure as Fidelity Warranty Services. If you've used that, then you know it's very easy to call in your repair. Our claim analysts are using the same national time guides that are used in shops, All Data, Mitchell. And so they're looking things up the same way you are, and they're looking up the same kind of parts that you are. And so we pay MSRP and parts. We feel that your ability to get the markup should not be hindered by the service contract, because that will lead to a poor experience for you, in which case it'd be a poor experience for the consumer. So we pay MSRP and parts, and we pay your posted labor rates. So that way, we have different specialties, right? Some repair shops specialize in transmissions. They will charge a different hourly rate than a general repair shop. And of course, no two shops are the same. So we pay the posted door rates. Again, it's designed to be a very good complimentary service for you and a good experience for your customers. Now, the bigger repairs, we'll dispatch an inspector to come out and verify that the vehicle is truly broken down and that an engine replacement or rebuild or transmission rebuild is necessary. The smaller claims, we don't tend to use inspectors. It just doesn't make economic sense. And so that is supposed to be also an easy process. The inspectors get dispatched the same day. In fact, as you're talking to the claim analyst who's going over your repair with you, they will know from our system whether or not an inspector is needed, and they will dispatch it right at the end of the call. Most of the inspectors can get there within a day, sometimes on the second day. It kind of depends on how far away your shop is from a large or populated area, or rural areas may take a little longer to get to. So again, it's a very easy process to use. The payment process is even easier. Years ago, because of the size of our parent company, we have our own credit union here at our locations, and that has led us to be able to have access to the credit card system so that we can issue a temporary credit card number for the purposes of paying a claim over the phone directly to your shop as if we were the customer. So you don't have to wait for your payment. As soon as your repair is wrapped up, then you would you would fax in your repair order. Our payment guys will basically quickly compare the repair order to the repair that was authorized. If everything matches up, they will simply call the shop and pay the final bill right over the phone. So it's very fast. None of this 30-day, 45-day waiting for a payment. If a customer has incurred a claim payment, like a rental car. So we provide rental cars on even same-day repairs. So if somebody needs to get to work and they need a rental car, but they're just having an alternator repair that can be done in the same day, we still will offer rental cars for that. It's covered under the contracts. So sometimes the customer incurs the rental car costs themselves rather than it being run through your repair order. And so we will cut a check directly to the customer and take care of them that way. So the reason that we are like this and that's part of our culture to provide a very good experience is because we feel that is the way to retain our customers, and it's the best way for shops to retain their customers. Century Warranty, we along with Fidelity Warranty, we were established back in 1977. We're one of the largest independent service contract providers in the country. We've got a little over $1.5 billion in the bank in cash and reserves for future claims. That's important. And if we were to stop selling service contracts today, we have enough cash and reserves to pay claims for well past 10 years, our longest term contracts into the future. We've sold almost 35 million contracts to date since we opened in 1977, and we have almost 10 million contracts that are still in force, haven't expired off. So we've got a huge operation in order to support all of those consumers for their contracts, and we have about $22 million a month go out the door on this credit card payments, reimbursing shops and consumers. So, David talked about the 85% rule. The reason why it's so important to use service contracts in your toolkit is because you want to get some of that stream coming back to your shop. Even if consumers have decided that they're going to be using a different shop for maintenance of their cars, they have a tendency to still go back to the shop for major repairs where they got the service contract. So garnering some of that 85% is really why this is a worthwhile program for you. So to get yourself in that $22 million stream. We've got two customer service centers where the claim authorizations and the payments are taking place. We have one in St. Louis, Missouri, and we have another one here in South Florida where I am. There are two diverse climates. That way, if we have weather in one of the centers and it's affecting call volumes, we can just route the calls. We'll start to bias over to the other center. So it's very transparent to you in the shops. We know that time is money, You need to be able to get on the phone and get off the phone, get your answers very, very quickly, and that's how we operate. You'll be pleased to know that the folks you talk to on the phones, they're former mechanics, not former shoe salesmen. These folks are ASA certified. We encourage them to maintain their certifications. Part of our incentive program and our contest that we run internally. We have a lot of master techs in our group, and we give extensive training all year long, separate from the ASE training and the master tech training. To keep up with cars, our involvement with the OEMs gives us access to understand what's happening with new chassis and new technology coming out, and keeps us right up to speed with a lot of what you're experiencing in your shops. We get a very high concentration of claim Q&A that takes, or repair Q&A that takes place between inspectors, shops, our analysts. There's a really strong knowledge base here that I think you guys will find really useful to you. We're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so that's a good thing for consumers that are curious about us, or you're curious about us. That's one very good thing to know. That's a difficult thing to maintain when you have that many millions of contracts in place. It's a very important thing for us. It's part of our DNA. With that, let me hand it back to David, and he'll kind of wrap things up for you and sum it up. David?
Thank you, Rick. Talking about the benefits again, kind of recapping the facility benefits and the 85% rule. There's both intangible and financial benefits to really incorporating service contracts into your shop culture, connecting your customers with quality service contracts. Obviously, as we talked about, it generates increased customer loyalty and retention, and it'll drive the customers back to your repairs facility for claims, the 85% rule. By having a tool like the Motor Age Vehicle Protection Portal that's on your desktop, there's no additional staff to hire or manage, nothing really complicated to learn. And it's a very turnkey solution that, again, allows you to create a dialogue with your customers every day. So financial benefits are, you can earn compensation for each service contract that's sold, as well as the financial benefits of having the additional parts and service revenue from claims over the life of those service contracts, as well as the opportunity to sell other services during the repair visit. Again, there's no program cost to your shop to set up something like the Motor Age Vehicle Protection Portal, so we would encourage you all to do that. And again, Motor Age concluded that connecting your customer with high quality coverage is ultimately good for your customer and good for the shop. If you're interested in learning more, we have a very simple turnkey process to set up your location, or if you have more than one shop, your entire group. We have a simple enrollment agreement for all your locations, and we would identify who you wanted to be the participating service writers in each location. We would set up your facility by registering your shop and each of the referring employees. We'll set up your desktop link, and then we have very easy personal online instruction and training. It doesn't take very long. It's very easy to learn to use. As you saw in the quick demo that I gave you, there's only a few screens and it's all self-explanatory. It kind of self-propels from one step to the next. And then we'll give you your facility ID number. We'll identify your facility for logging in. And then each service writer will have a personal password that identifies them as the referring employee, so that ultimately, if a customer is referred that does buy a service contract, then the credit for that sale can go back to your shop and back to that referring employee. If you're interested in enrolling, or if you have additional questions, or if you'd like a presentation on the Motor Age Vehicle Protection Plan to you and your team, please reach out to Motor Age Vehicle Protection Team. They'd be happy to do that for you at 866-225-7135. Or if you'd like to learn more, you can also click on the Motor Age. Motor Age has a lot of information on their website, www.motorage.com/MAVPP for Motor Age Vehicle Protection Plan. So with that, I think that's really encapsulates the presentation information that Rick and I really wanted to be able to pass on to all of you to help you hopefully better understand and incorporate the benefits of service contracts in your shops. And so, Larry, I'll turn it back over to you for questions and answers.
Well, thank you, David, and thank you, Rick. for a great presentation, very informative. And while this has been going on, we have received some very good questions from our audience. And I'm going to pick a few of these and ask you to answer them. First one, I see the value in offering service contracts to my customers, but really don't know enough about service contracts to be comfortable with selling them. How can the Motor Age portal help me overcome this fear? David, can I ask you to answer that?
Sure, Larry. That's a great question. As a matter of fact, that's one of the questions that Motor Age saw repeatedly in some of the surveys they did. The Motor Age portal, again, it's a very simple desktop tool. So if all you want to do is connect your customers with quality coverage and start a conversation and refer them, then you can just use the portal to really take it to that first step and to go ahead and do that. If you'd like to get involved in a little bit more of the conversation with the customer, maybe show the customer some quotes, print out some information for the customer, then you can use the portal for that. And then there are some shops that, again, really are interested in selling service contracts, and they haven't necessarily understood it up to now or had the really good tools to do it. But with the Motor Age portal, it's a very simple process. So they can actually lead the customer all the way to the beginning of a sale and a down payment on a service contract. And regardless of what level that you would like to take this to in your shop, or how much time you have in your shop with a customer that day, we have an entire experienced team of service contract experts behind the scenes that are really here to help the customers with all the complex details, related to service contracts. So the portal was designed as a very simple desktop tool, backed by a very experienced team. So Larry, I hope that answers that question. I'll turn it back to you.
I think that's very thorough. Thank you, David. Here's another one. In fact, Rick, I'm going to ask you to answer this. But how about a specific example regarding when an inspector would be needed to be sent to a shop?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. Obviously inspections exist to cut down on fraud. You sell a lot of contracts, eventually you'll come across somebody trying to pull some shenanigans. So we have an inspection process. We've learned over the years that too much inspection really doesn't help the economics and can be annoying. So we found a very good balance. Typically what will trigger it is a high dollar. So we've gone over a threshold, but more commonly what will trigger it is multiple claims at the same time on the same visit to your shop. So that's a rare occurrence. Doesn't typically happen with cars that you have multiple kind of diverse assemblies on the car breaking at the same time. That can sometimes be an indication of fraud for us. And so the inspectors are dispatched, and as I mentioned earlier, it's a fairly simple process for the claim inspector to come out. That answer the question for you, Larry?
Oh, absolutely. Thanks, Rick. Here's another one. I think actually this one would be another good one for you, Rick. I guess I would call this a piggyback question on the other question you just answered. We have a shop owner wondering how long it takes for an inspector to come out.
Okay. We talked about this a little bit, and typically your inspector will arrive the same day. If you're calling in to claim early during the day, they'll be out that afternoon. Sometimes if it's a super busy day, or maybe you're in a more rural area where shops are spread apart more, than they may come out the second day. But typically it's done in the first and second day. Again, we realize that is it's a customer service point for shops. They need to get through that process very quickly. Customers are typically taken care of because under covered repairs, they're in a rental car anyways, and they've gone about their business. But for a shop, you've got a car that you can't work on until you get through that inspection. So we're only inspecting maybe 1 to 2 out of 20 cars. So it's really not a super high frequency thing, but typically they'll be done within a day. All right, Larry?
Yeah, very important stuff, Rick. Thanks. Paying for a claim is on someone's mind in terms of how fast claims are paid. How about that, Rick?
Well, claim payments are very easy. This in the last 10 years, because of the way technology has gone, we've developed a really fast process for doing claims. So I'm glad I get to kind of elaborate on that. In the old days, you'd have to fax in your repair order, and then we'd have to mail out a check. Today, you would fax in a repair order. The same day that we're receiving the repair order, it's being reviewed, and the claim payments are made the same day. So typically, used to be we would make sure that checks were mailed. As long as we got the repair order by 3 o'clock Eastern time, we would mail the check the same day. But nowadays, things go even faster than that. Yeah, we can take repair orders later in the day and still call out a credit card payment to the shop. We make the payment simply by calling the shop, reading our credit card number over the phone, just like as if we were the consumer. So it's really a very, very simple process for the shop.
All right, you're definitely talking their language. And Rick, while I'm on a roll here with you, I'm just going to stay with you for this, what will be our last question, but a very important one.
Okay.
Okay. A shop owner wants to know how much is paid on a claim.
Well, your claims are made up of parts and labor, and so we will use just kind of standard national time guides. Mitchell, All Data are the most popular ones that we use because they're the most popular. What shops are using? We have some OEM manuals as well that are often used, and that way we're landing on the same timing that the shop is landing on. And so that process has gone through. And then in terms of the labor rates that we're paying, we pay your posted labor time. So since we have so many claims and so many contracts in force all over the country, we know what the average labor rates are around all the cities and even in the rural areas. So it's very easy for us to tell if something is reasonable. But our goal and our internal policy is to pay the door rate that the shop is charging. Of course, on parts, it's MSRP. We don't do it at what sometimes they call a warranty rate, where your parts are only marked up by a very small percentage. We don't feel that is a good way to keep your shops happy. And if the shop isn't happy, then it's not going to be pleasant for the consumer. So we pay MSRP in parts. We have access to standard parts pricing guides from all over the country, the standard aftermarket ones, as well as we have OEM MSRP part sheets. You don't have to use OEM parts. You can use aftermarket parts. So again, that's part of that culture of being repair shop centric. We think that's very, very important. If it's good for you, then it'll be good for the customers. Larry?
Well, again, Rick, you are definitely talking the language of shop owners. Very good. Thank you so much. And I want to thank you, Rick Bale, again, and David Diem for your time today, and also your valuable insight into customer retention with the use of service contracts. Thank you so much. I guess the bad news is that this webinar is actually ending, because there's just so much good information in it. But the good news is that Rick and David have agreed to enlighten us on some other pertinent service contract topics in the near future. Please watch your inbox in the coming weeks for announcements about additional webinars featuring these two experts. Thanks again, Rick and David, and thanks to all of you who have joined us today. For Motor Age, this is Larry Silvey.